Money, power, influence. Some people climb to the very top of the financial ladder, only to come crashing down harder than anyone thought. Today, we're diving into the shocking stories of billionaires and millionaires who had it all and then lost everything. These aren't just tales of bad luck. They're lessons in greed, pride, and sometimes just plain bad timing. So grab a seat, because by the end of this video, you'll realize that even the richest among us aren't safe from losing it all. First up, Ike Batista, the $30 billion man who went bankrupt. At one point, Batista was the 7th richest man in the world, a Brazilian oil and mining magnate worth over $30 billion. He had yachts, mansions, private jets, you name it. He wasn't shy about showing it off either. Batista once bragged that he'd soon surpass Bill Gates as the richest man alive. But here's the twist. His empire was built on shaky foundations. His oil company, OGX, promised massive reserves that never actually materialized. Investors fled, stock prices crashed, and Batista's fortune evaporated almost overnight. By 2014, just a few years after being a billionaire, he filed for bankruptcy. From $30 billion to owning $1 billion in debt. He even ended up serving jail time for corruption and insider trading. It's a brutal reminder, no matter how high you climb, if it's built on hype and lies, it can all collapse.
Elizabeth Holmes is raising millions of dollars for a new company.
Elizabeth Holmes. She was the founder of Theranos, a Silicon Valley startup that claimed it could run hundreds of medical tests with just a single drop of blood. Investors went crazy. At its peak, Theranos was valued at $9 billion, and Holmes herself was celebrated as the youngest female billionaire in the world. Magazines called her the next Steve Jobs. She wore the black turtlenecks, spoke with conviction, and charmed politicians and billionaires alike. But it was all a lie. The technology didn't work. For years, she hid the truth behind secrecy and intimidation until whistleblowers exposed the fraud. Holmes went from a billionaire to basically worth nothing. And in 2023, she reported to prison to serve over 11 years for fraud. From being hailed as the future of medicine to being a cautionary tale of Silicon Valley greed. Next is a name you might not know, but his downfall was massive. Alan Stanford. Stanford was once considered one of the richest men in America, with a fortune of over $2 billion. He owned private islands, sponsored cricket tournaments, and lived a life of pure luxury. But in 2009, the truth came out. His wealth was built on one of the largest Ponzi schemes in the US history, worth over $7 billion. Investors lost everything, and Stanford, he was sentenced to 110 years in prison. Imagine going from billionaire yachts to prison cell for life. Talk about a fall from grace. And finally, we can't talk about losing it all without mentioning the most infamous case of all, Bernie Madoff. For decades, Madoff was considered a Wall Street legend. He managed billions, promised steady returns, and built trust with some of the wealthiest people in the world. But in 2008, the truth unraveled. His entire empire, the largest Ponzi scheme in history, worth about $65 billion, was fake. When it all collapsed, thousands of investors lost their life savings. Charities, celebrities, even banks around the world were ruined. Madoff himself, he was sentenced to 150 years in prison, where he died in 2021. The man who once lived like a king died behind bars. So, what can we learn from all of this? Whether it's fraud, risky bets, or just bad luck, these stories show us that money doesn't guarantee security. In fact, the higher you rise, the harder the fall can be. From Ike Batista to Elizabeth Holmes, from Alan Stanford to Bernie Madoff, the lesson is clear: fortune can vanish in the blink of an eye. So, the next time you look at billionaires and think they're untouchable, remember these stories. Wealth is powerful, but it's never guaranteed. Thanks for watching. If you found this video eye-opening, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more deep dives, and let me know in the comments which of these stories shocked you the most. Until next time, stay curious and stay smart.